For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Is there any kind of political interference in the operations of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force? We'll have a response. Somebody says that we do not like change. We like to maintain the status quo. And how about horrible politicians want to be called honorable? All that and more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on the NewsSpin Facebook page as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. My name is Timothy Poleon. I'll be hearing from you as well at 452-2979 along with your WhatsApp messages 716-2026, and Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. I have this thing when I read the news. You could never hear me say, Honorable Minister of so-and-so and Honorable this and that. I just go straight to your name and your designation. Those are the relics of colonialism that we ought to dispense with. We ought to ignore. But you know, they like to talk about slavery and colonialism, and the white people, and the black people, etc. But there are certain things, some relics of colonialism, that they embrace. The knighthoods, the awards, the honors that are given to them, the various official activities that are taking place and are hosted by people who are representing everything that has to do with colonialism. They like to be in attendance. They dress like the white man, shirt, tie, and jacket. I don't believe, and I say, you not hear me saying this in a hurry, Honorable Minister of this, or Honorable MP for this constituency, and Honorable this and that. To me, that is totally unnecessary, because a lot of those people have those titles just because they would have won a seat and been given some kind of portfolio. If you dig deep, it is not necessary to describe those people as honorable. Because they get into politics not primarily because they want to serve the people and things that are impacting them to make a difference in the lives of the people of the country, but primarily to make a difference in their own lives as politicians. Let us listen to a presentation by a Dominican minister just a few hours ago before we came on the air. And they were saying that governments get into office primarily because they want to make a difference in the lives of the people. Whenever there is a particular problem, they want to address that problem. And somehow he makes some kind of slight reference to St. Lucia. And I'll play that clip tomorrow, God willing, in our broadcast. And you will be able to listen to it, the comments that he would be making, and the reference that he makes to St. Lucia. And you obviously will say to yourself that you can identify with what he just said. And definitely he is talking about a particular issue which has dogged the island over several years now. But the gist of the observation that he was making was, you don't get into government just to lead a people, just to lead a country, but so that when you demit office, when you're no longer the minister with responsibility for that ministry and you're not the MP for that constituency, people can say you have a legacy, you've left a legacy of achievement, one where you have made a difference in the lives of so many young people who, after you've retired, will become adults and they will never ever forget. But in the case of St. Lucia, I wonder what most, if not most of our politicians will be known for after they have left political office. So let us listen to this African professor. He's talking about politicians, their behavior while under hustings, and how they behave when they get into government.
Then I look at our leaders who, when they are seeking to serve us, when they are seeking our support, they are humility personified. They kiss babies. They go to the shibin. They drink from dirty cups. They walk on foot. They smile with us. They take photos with everybody. They discard their security. They are humility personified. They speak the language that we want to hear. They do the things that they think we want to see them do. They delude us. They cheat us. And somehow we accept that they are leaders. But immediately they get what they want. Oh, they have a reverse Poleon conversion. If they were Paul, they go back to being souls. And we can no longer recognize them. When you ring them, their phones are picked by somebody called a PA, whose only claim to fame that he is rude beyond measure. When you go to the offices, they no longer want to see you. When they are driving in the streets, their sirens scare you. While I suspect that those who discovered the siren meant that it should be used for good purposes, for them it is a badge of honor, and they harass us in the streets. They acquire things which they have not worked for. They promise us things that they know they will never deliver. They want to be described as honorable even when they are horrible. These are the men that we have.
They want to be described as honorable even when they are horrible. So, my colleagues, fellow media workers at the NTN, it seems to be your sole responsibility to describe those people as honorable MP, an honorable minister, an honorable this, and honorable that. I suspect as far as your job description is concerned, you have to. It's automatic. you must describe them as honorable. Let us hear now from Dr. Adrian Auger, well-known St. Lucian cultural activist. He is also an organizer of many carnival events. He's a poet. He's also an economist. And sometime last week, April the 18th, he delivered a lecture, and that is the 10th anniversary of the Patricia Charles Memorial Lecture, organized by the UE Global Campus, St. Lucia. And he's saying, in effect, that we do not like change. We like to maintain the status quo.
We have been too reluctant in our own evolution, conservative in our politics, comatose in our imagination, imitative in our development philosophy, in a single word, afraid. Again and again, and even now, new initiatives are systematically abandoned to return too quickly to the status quo ante. Despite towering achievements on the world stage across 5 continents, we are now intellectually timid, non-cohesive, fractious. We have a history of avoiding change, avoiding challenge. We finish little, we do not endure or act strategically, and so the development dividend eludes us. When Grenada abandoned old jaded development pathways to explore new cooperative options, we should have made room for this bold modern replacement of Gary's corrupt and inadequate vehicle, which would never have transported the Grenadian people to prosperity. Imagine the hypocrisy. We plotted with conservative regimes in sister islands and conspired with the United States to thwart Grenada's liberation. And why, you ask, do we disbelieve our leaders? Fast track to November 2021. St. Lucia's new Prime Minister makes his first address to the private sector from the vantage of his 13+2 parliamentary majority. He says bravely, and I'm not imitating him, ours cannot be an explosive progress, an exploitative progress. Attitudes of winner take all and devil take the hindmost are obsolete and unsustainable in our small interwoven society. Our governance system is weak and outmoded. While it may have served us well in the opening chapters of nationhood, it has remained stagnant and has become incompatible with our evolution as a sovereign people in a global community. One simply cannot expect blood from stone. I encourage you to push yourselves to rethink, retool, re-engineer, and reposition. This from the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Lucia, just months after his July victory. But does anyone remember? Does the private sector really want change? And bear in mind that opening up domestic economies as we did by international agreement decimated traditional private sectors. So any notion of long-term national commitment has been replaced by the quarterly bottom line preoccupations of foreign-based players. So why rock that boat? The model works just fine for profits, margins, market share. Sustainability remains a low priority ideal. When finished here, there will be other lands and lives to plunder. Meanwhile, our poverty and income distribution indicators are worsening. The qualitative indicators are deteriorating. Social progress, quality of life, environment. For the many, these are not happy times. Our more quantitative economic indicators are not faring much better. Our growth rate looks like a crazy zigzag, fluctuating north and south of zero. the St. Lucian economy recorded an average growth rate of 1.1% in the decade up to 2022, with several years of negative growth in between. We have not seen significant growth in this economy for the last 30 years. And we need to think about that. In the search for remedies, we should note that government taxes, that is, money taken out of the productive economy, have been rising constantly at rates around 20%. So the economy is growing at 1.1%, if you're lucky, in a good year, but government taxation, extraction from the economy, is growing around 20%. As recently as 2023, taxes rose 19% from one year to the next. And no one has concluded that there is a strong correlation between high tax and low growth. Well, it is entirely possible that the monolith of government is impoverishing the people. And I offer this because government wages and salaries increased by 10.5% in 2023 over 2022. With other hostage commitments like debt service, there can be no public sector surplus to bring to the development table. The redistributive functions of government have therefore been displaced. So any notion of tax the rich and give to the poor are no longer viable. The government taxes everybody and mostly gives it to itself.
You just heard there from Dr. Adrian Auger, and he was delivering the Patricia Charles Memorial Lecture on the 18th of this month at the UE Global Campus, St. Lucia. Gave you a lot of information, and I suspect many of you are not aware of the stats that he provided, but in effect saying that we do not like change. Those meaningful and drastic decisions that we have to take, for example, to make ourselves a real independent country, we are afraid to take those changes for fear we'll be rocking the boat, and we might be to a large extent disappointing certain key players in our society, certain key sectors. We just want things to remain as they are because it has been working to the satisfaction of influential and prominent people in the country. But as far as people from the lower strata of the economic ladder in this country, they do not have the voice to demand change, and their lot has not improved over several years now. We open the line to take your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Send me your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And of course, Kimani will be going through some of the comments in the chat room. I'd like to inform you that the National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union wishes to inform valued customers that their offices will close early tomorrow, and that is to facilitate a general staff meeting. Vieux-Fort branch will close at noon. The Castries branch will close at 1 p.m. Regular business hours will resume on Wednesday, 24th of April 2024. And the National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union would like to apologize for any inconvenience caused. Welcome back, Kimani. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you so much, Tim. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Tim. Good what was a bubbly? What kind of? What kind of response is this, Kimani?
A response that I usually give, Tim. Yeah. It's nothing new.
No.
Something
is wrong. Something is wrong.
Okay, whatever you say.
What's happening in the chat room?
In the chat room, someone says, "Want us to ask, are we to listen to the message or the messenger?" I think in this case, it would be the message. Another comment, St. Lucians have become much poorer under the SLP in 2+ years. Inflation has doubled in 2+ years under SLP. Another comment, yes, Tim, I agree with you. Most of these politicians lack honor. It's time the people stop treating them like little gods. And another comment, so true. I agree with you, Tim. There is nothing honorable about them. Some of them are horrible. That's it.
All right, thank you so much. We have a caller line. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
I actually made the first call, Tim.
Yeah, you taking the first knock today. I was hoping that you'll score a century. Go ahead.
Because I'm hoping what?
You score a century because you're batting first.
Well, first thing, before I get there, that speech by Adrian Auger ought to be sectionalized, broken up, and read over and over and over at every opportunity you have, Tim. It is one of the most real, to use a phrase, lectures I've heard in a long time, and especially from Adrian Auger. He said a lot of things there. And I don't know what he's saying we don't like change, because we swallow whatever change is shoved down our throats. You agree with that or not?
No, I disagree with you. We don't
you don't agree with that?
We don't.
You know a change that the government made that was resisted?
Not in that context. I'm just saying. Not in that context, but in terms of changing things for the betterment of our country, we're not willing to do this. We want to maintain the status quo because that's what we're accustomed to. We're accustomed to politicians fooling us, whether it's from that side or that side, and we allow it to happen. So we don't like change. And we're not effecting the kind of change that we want in our country. That is why our new spin question of the day is, how can the people of St. Lucia effect positive change?
One of the problems we have for lectures like Adrian Auger's and a couple other people is that you get a relative handful of people coming there, to the disappointment, I suspect, of the lecturers. And those who ask questions, the questions, though intelligent, are insignificant. If I just say, had I been there, one of the questions I would have asked him would be to explain what he meant by we don't like change. Because, Tim, for me, the changes we don't like are those put out by the party we don't like. The government can do whatever it wants, and the supporters of that government will agree with it. If it's the other party, there'll be marches and protests and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter we don't like change. It's all to do with party. We're not interested in change or no change or status quo or nothing. It all depends on what the government...
Okay, but Rick, when I say that we don't like change, my apologies, because I'm not even focusing on the hacks. Okay, I've been long enough to know that the hacks, they make their mind up long before general election. And after general election, even when that government, whichever party that's in office, is not performing to the satisfaction of the people, most people who are middle of the road, etc., they don't care. So when I say we don't like change, I'm not talking particularly about the hacks.
Well, what I was talking about is vital changes, Tim. And that's why I thought it was an important question. And to be fair to Adrian, nobody asked him to explain it. Because if somebody had asked him, you and I would not be debating what he actually meant. But they don't ask questions like that. But I want to insist, we are not interested or uninterested in change. Whatever our government shoves down our throat, we take it. And if it's things that are causing little waves, you'll see the pseudo-intellectuals turning to Facebook and writing the most distracting nonsense there is without ever even bothering to check for them. Look, for example, there is a whole hoo-ha going on about the immediate future of the CIP and its possible impact on our passports, both in terms of selling to foreigners and our own travel arrangements, right?
Yeah.
Tim, there's nobody you can believe yet. Because one party is saying this, the other party is saying that, and defending party. Okay? So that is why we are where we are. Because we refuse to make the change and start asking serious questions regardless of who it is. And getting debates demanding things from your government. You're not throwing your government out of office when you demand things of them, but that's the attitude. You can't. I saw a debate going on Facebook because there was apparently some concern, expressed concern about what would happen to traffic when the halls of
justice
has been built. I mean, do we have a starting date in that place yet?
Do we have a starting date? No, I don't get a sense yet. No.
Okay.
But it will take up at least 2 years.
Already, people with no idea, unqualified people, are fighting one another on Facebook about the congestion, about why can't you say park over there? Why can't we use the parking lot by the government buildings now? Why didn't you say that when so on happened? The usual crap. So we're going nowhere. But I want to get back to Adrian Rose's speech. It really contains a lot of food for thought, Tim. He made a statement about our politicians, for example, where he indicated that politicians basically come in for the money. And they try to get as much as they can in those 5 years, as I interpreted what he said. And the next 5 years, if they don't make it, well, they're well taken care of anyway. And there's always the next term after that. In simple language, as I understood it, the politicians go in there for themselves only, Tim. Mm-hmm. Look what is going on there with that CIP and all the concerns. When that thing first came out, I wrote an article about it, expressing my concern on a number of grounds, especially the matter of due diligence. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to know who is it we can trust with due diligence, that we won't get criminals, we won't get all kinds of mercenaries. Don't forget, Hilaire told us we had mercenaries here during the Dominica elections. Now, we don't know if those mercenaries in St. Lucia were St. Lucian or whether they were from Saudi Arabia. We don't know. But he said they were the ones responsible. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For what it was planned. What happened in Dominica was planned.
For what happened in Dominica. The
riots and so on. The riots.
The riots. Mm. He said that the mercenaries were in St. Lucia and it's all planned and executed from St. Lucia. And he did not say by St. Lucians or by Dominicans over here. So it's left wide to speculate whether they're from Saudi Arabia or some other horror country. We don't know. But I want to congratulate OJ, and you really should. I suppose you have time now to listen to that tape and play segments of it, because he doesn't speak well of successive governments that we have here, and he doesn't speak too well of us either, because we just follow whatever is given. And at the end of his lecture, you get the feeling whatever might be attempted as medicine, we are years too late to make any change that we are about to see the effects of any time soon. But finally, you just go to your chat room and read the reactions there. They're all of them more concerned with Adrian O'Shea. I don't always agree with Adrian O'Shea, very talented man, etc. I don't always agree with him. When I agree with him, I'm effusive in my agreement and my praise. But if Kimani would read the most of the references to him, is now you find your voice. Where you come from? How come you didn't say that before? How did that? We lose, Tim. We lose. We all lose on that kind of foolishness. And that is where we are reluctant to change. On that one, if it's red, we do it. If it's blue, we do it. If it's yellow, we do it. That is self-destruction. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. What's in the chat room? By the way, Kimani, is it reflective of what Rick just claimed there?
Yes, it is. I just didn't really want to read those comments. But basically what Rick said, someone says, you can say what you want, mate is a hypocrite, my opinion. Someone says, he woke up now, SMH, okay. Another comment, the changes happening in the country today is on a downwards spiral. Someone says, you all too quick to latch onto people's words even when they speak truth in the moment. Remember, a broken clock is right twice a day. I personally prefer consistency, especially when one presents himself or herself as non-aligned or independent. Another comment, Dr. King is next. The moo pills are fading away. Elections are approaching. But essentially what Rick said.
Okay. Thank you so much for that update. Still to come on the broadcast. Somebody says, I will tender my resignation. And that's very principled. But what about St. Lucia? You'd have killing after killing occurring in certain parts of the island, in particular, over the last year or so, concentrated in V4. And strange enough, well, not strange enough, I mean, that's the norm in St. Lucia. No one has taken responsibility, and no one would want to lose their jobs because so many lives are being lost in that part of the island. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and it's called NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
Get ready to turn up the heat with KFC's blazing Burn-a-Box deal. For only $30, you'll feast on 2 succulent chicken pieces, dive into the exclusive new bacon melt sandwich, savor crispy regular fries, and wash it all down with a refreshing regular drink. But wait, tune into the radio and keep an eye on social media for limited discount tickets and ticket giveaways to see Burna Boy on May 3rd. One lucky winner and 3 friends will snag VIP and backstage passes. Just grab your Burna Box, jot your name and number on the receipt, and drop it in the box provided for your chance to win. Ignite your taste adventure with KFC's Burna Box today.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel, and shoulder pain, cramps, and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more so the tingo. Is more wet flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more wet flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video cast, unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 to activate.
Now that's the new vibe in the lingo. Yes! More pan more, see how the tingo. It's more with flow, now you really know. Get you now. All these deals make you save more. Get more!
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Sufred Jazz, the ultimate experience. On the fringe of St. Lucia Jazz, yet taking main focus is Sufred Jazz, the ultimate experience. Featuring Taunton Legend, Future Lights, Robsai and Finesse, TYP, Ricky T, Jefferson John, Headliners, Nyla Blackman, Skinny Fabulous, Taurus Riley.
She's royal, yeah, so royal.
Presented by the Sufra Event Management Organization. Sunday, May 5th at the Sufra Mini Stadium from 3 p.m. General admission, $130 EC. VIP, $400 EC. Get your tickets at fourcirclestickets.com. SRDF, The Cell, Sufra Jazz, the ultimate experience.
Hey guys, guess what? Because your dad deserves more, Europa is giving more. They're bringing back the wow on Friday, June 14th with the very popular Culture Day for Father's Day. Last year was a blast and this year will be explosive. So fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, all the dads of St. Lucia and all the moms who stand for dad, we are knocking off 15% discount on all pressure washers, vacuum cleaners, upholstery cleaners, in fact, on all carton machines. And that's not all. With turbo impact drills, rotary hammer drills, angle grinders, power saws, jigsaws, and sanders too. This year we are throwing the kitchen sink out for dads.
Monsieur, ça non vle encore. Pour les oui.
Europa June 14th. I not.
452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp messages at 716-2026, and that is 716-2026. As we continue to discuss the issues in the news and matters of concern to you. Somebody says, Tim, Dr. Adrian Ogier said a lot, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Did he say that government salaries increase? Yes, he made reference to government salaries increasing over the last few years and the cost of the increases and the impact it's having on the government's wage bill. I think every government in St. Lucia has spoken about this over several decades now, because you talk about over $1.8 billion budget, but how much of this would have to be used to pay salaries? And the likes of the late George Odlum at one point in time would have suggested that the public sector, the size of the public sector should be reduced by some 10%. But any government in its right mind would know that if you tamper with the size of the public sector, if you send public sector workers home, then automatically what you have done there is to commit political suicide. Not only that person, but at least 4 or 5 people from that person's household or the family will vote against you. So those are the kind of changes that we probably have to make, but we'll never do it because there's been so many white and blue and all kind of papers that have been prepared with the hope of improving productivity in the public sector, those also have not materialized. So what we are paying for, are we really getting value for money? So in other words, what Dr. Adrian Auger is saying, the tough choices that would result in us making some kind of massive gains, mammoth gains, positive gains, we are not prepared to make them because those would end up being very, very unpopular. 452-2979, 452-2979. Let me see if I have some of your WhatsApp messages to go through. Hopefully, by tomorrow, we should be in a position, I'm saying hopefully, to take your WhatsApp calls, in particular, those of you in the diaspora. Okay, somebody says there, Tim, do you think we St. Lucians don't like change, or we fail to admit we made a mistake or a bad decision that will take us 5 years to change? Listening from Houston, Texas. I think we have a call. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim. How are you doing?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Can you hear me loud and clear, Tim?
Yes, I can hear you, caller. Go ahead. I could hear you.
Tim, I want to highlight an issue because there are persons who are in the lower strata of society who may not have the courage to speak out when there are matters affecting them. And that pertains to, I don't know if you're familiar with the vendor called Joycelyn Fanny, where her personal business was exposed by a government minister on his talk show on Thursday, where she's been victimized for no reason. Well, not for no reason. We all know it has to do with a lot of politics, political victimization. And this vendor has been humiliated by this government minister, the MP for Castries Central, on his talk show. All her private business is out there, and this is unbecoming of a government minister. You would readily accept him that ministers of government, their duty is not to micromanage. Their duty is to set a policy and let the policy implementers do their work. And that has to do with the Castries Constituency Council. The Castries Constituency Council is charged with the responsibility to manage the market and the vendors and what have you. And this government minister was using information that he obtained from the Castries Constituency Council to go after this poor vendor, Joycelyn, in the most vile and vicious way. Today, Tim, I want to use your medium to speak on behalf of this lady. This lady has been vending for over 30 years. Like your mom, I used to patronize your mom. You may not remember me, but I am proud of persons like your mom and Joycelyn and others who fly their trade, who vend, who make an honest living. They by the sidewalk there, they earn an honest living, and they're trying to be independent, not having to depend on government for everything. And this lady, Joycelyn, has been plying her trade by the roadside for over 30 years. Here it is now that there were some booths that were constructed, that is ongoing, being constructed as we speak or finished by the adjacent to the government printery. And she is denied a booth because of political victimization. This said government minister said on his show one Thursday that once he's the minister, this particular vendor will not get a vending booth. That is unbecoming. And of late today, she's been told that she has to remove her structure, her tent or whatever she has there by today, or else they will throw it away. How that could be right? Here it is, this is a lady who has been vending there. She applied for a booth, and she's been told because of political affiliation that she's not going to get a booth by that said government minister on his show. Tim, give me your opinion on this. How this could be right?
Well, let me tell you, caller, I don't like the way that this thing is being played out in the media and on a talk show. I think issues of that nature should be settled amicably behind closed doors, and we have to be consistent. I mean, if we want to champion the cause of women and poor people in this country during one particular era or when one particular government is in office, when we get into office, when you have a change in administration, you have to continue. And irrespective of whether you're SLP or UWP, your navel strings are buried in St. Lucia, and you have to earn a living. And I think most people have a soft heart for vendors, in particular the women, because a lot of those women are single parents. And those women have an alternative. They can decide to turn to prostitution. But those people, they have their dignity, and those people are hard-working individuals. They prefer to do something that does not demean, that does not lower their status, lower them in any kind of way, and they would want to do things in a very honest manner. So that is where, for example, your vendors association should come in to mediate on behalf of this lady. A number of other interest groups. We have a number of organizations in St. Lucia claiming to look after the interests of women, raise your voice, etc. But I don't think that should be something that should have been played out in the open the way it has happened.
Exactly, Tim. And let me just say, and you're right, you're quite right on this. This same government minister, the MP for Castle Central, Richard Frederick, when he was leading to the last, I said nobody would touch his vendors. And then when that is just the government minister. When Peterson Francis, the last mayor, was trying to put regulations in the city, vending regulations, he criticized Peterson Francis. He said nobody will go after his vendors, right? And to date, the lady is not saying she has to remain on the sidewalk. She applied for a booth. She submitted her application. She's well qualified to get a booth. And you say, this government minister is saying on his show 2 or 3 Thursdays ago that once he's the minister, that this lady will not get a booth. It's wrong, Tim. And I'm urging and I'm encouraging Peter Ras-Iper Isaac, who is the president of the Vendors Association, to please intervene, because this cannot be right. This is a lady who's a citizen of the country, like you rightly said, Tim. She has a right to earn a living in her country. You have persons from all nationalities coming there and they getting a piece of the pie. She's a citizen. Whether she supports red or yellow, that's not the issue. That's irrelevant. The fact is, she's a vendor. She's trying to earn a living, a decent and honest living. She's more than qualified to operate a booth there. And because of mere political mischief by this respective government minister, he is victimizing the lady. And this is not the only case in scenario. There are persons who have been victimized, who have been verbally attacked by this said government minister on a weekly basis, inclusive of women. And we have to speak out against this thing. Thank you for giving me your platform and the medium to highlight this issue on behalf of this poor lady, this poor vendor. Thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you so much. Somebody says there, why isn't the caller saying that Joycelyn has been renting both from CCC and has not been paying? Owed CCC thousands of dollars. She passed one booth on to her son, who agreed to pay the arrest. The son stopped paying. Why would the CCC rent a booth to her when she's not in the habit of paying? But what I'm saying is those are issues that should be settled behind closed doors. I mean, it can't be playing out, whether it's on radio or on television, especially when you're talking about a vendor versus a government minister. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp messages 716-2026. In the chat room, Kimani, what's there?
Someone says, Tim, I'm on the train with your caller. Another comment, Professor Lamamba spoke to that politicians of old and new continue to forget this very same individuals who have empowered them to work. That is why we the people need to openly call them out on their BS. Another comment in the chat, someone says, where is Iper? What is he saying on behalf of this Joycelyn matter? Someone else says, that is what works for them. I am not feeling for them. Another comment in the chat, changes are needed. I think everyone agrees to that notion, but Adrian stands on conservatism in politics, paints a picture that to be conservative is to be anti-change, and that I will never agree with. Dr. Auger was adamant that the loan given to Cabot was wrong and even attempted to question the integrity of the members of the NIC board. I stood up in Senate and had to defend the integrity of the members of the NIC. What does he have to say about Cabot now? Someone else says, Tim, lots of people talk responsibility for the gold medal of great sports personalities. Who is taking responsibility for the gold medal in crime in St. Lucia? Crime is our favorite sport, always in the news, but no one takes responsibility for its medals. My opinion on this Adrian Auger speech. His party is in power with the wrong leader, so no wonder coming his way. The man was at an intellectual event. What do you expect? He speaks the truth. It's the public's responsibility to be discerning. Another comment, sometimes you cannot separate the message from the man, and oftentimes the message is diluted because of the messenger. Credibility is real. Someone says, Rick has to understand he didn't get his way with them. Now he is speaking. When we needed him to speak out, where was him? Gone are the days when I would put sweet-talking intellectuals on a pedestal. Show me what you have done to effect change above and beyond merely talking about it. There is nothing in that lecture that we didn't already know.
You have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. All right, continue to call 452-2979. Once again, 452-2979. Call again. Good afternoon. Hello.
Three-time journalist of the year. So Timothy Caller, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon to my Ballard Hill Collier people. Good afternoon to the godfather of our nation, to Michael Shaftney. Tim, coming to you. I heard you say last week that Pierre didn't lie. He made an error.
No, I did.
Yeah.
I did not say he did not lie. What I said, he erred. He made an error. That's what I said.
Now, Tim, why would you want to cover up for the Prime Minister?
Cover up?
Yes.
I said what he said was wrong, number one. And I also said, no, hold on. I said that he erred, and he made an error. I am not in the man's head. I cannot tell you that he lied. I could also tell you what he said was not the truth, but I can't tell you he lied.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. He lied. And he's a compulsive, pathological liar. Whenever he opens his mouth, he lies. Okay? Let me say this to you. You know something that Barbados continue to tell us, West Indians? We have so much, they tell us we have so much class distinction in the Caribbean. A lot of class. What goes for the poor man doesn't go for the top man, the big shots. Okay? For instance, let me come back to you. Rick Wayne asked you the other day if you could curse on your station. Rick Wayne, I'm talking to you. You calling a man on his program and asking him if you could curse on his station, and you know full well you don't know how to do it. You're calling arrogant. You're so arrogant. And that lady is right to put you in your face. You're too damn good. Okay?
Bermuda, don't call and pick fights with people. First, you're talking about the Prime Minister, and you just segue onto another contributor to the program. Listen, Bermuda, here's this. I do not want this program to be something where people just, exchange words and make reference to each other in derogatory ways, etc. Let's focus on the important issues that are before us. You're calling all the way from Bermuda. I don't think it's to mépouser anybody, sir. Right?
No, Rick Wayne is similar to Mr. Frederick.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. WhatsApp message, somebody says the civil service can be reduced. The restructuring of the department can reduce the civil service gradually. This is without sending anyone home. What is happening is that workers leave and they are being replaced immediately, most likely by a party supporter. It's like an opportunity to employ your supporters at the expense of the country. 452-2979, your WhatsApp messages, 716-2026. Somebody says that there was no 10% to civil servants in 2023. I recall it was 1%, which was agreed to by the previous administration and was postponed because of COVID-19. Another WhatsApp message, somebody says that, Tim, Didn't this present administration accuse the former administration of victimization and campaigned on the promise that they would be inclusive of everyone? Victimization is so apparent, and yet the Prime Minister isn't saying anything. I don't think that we can accuse any government of not victimizing supporters of the opposing parties. It happens in the case of both administrations. The people just have to decide what to do, If you believe that people are victimizing you, people are victimizing your family members, they're victimizing your friends, it is rife in our society, and you don't want to tolerate it, you know what to do at the appropriate time. We have a call. This is NewsSpin. Hello, good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Okay. Kimani, what's in the chat room?
In the chat room, someone says, I view calling some of these politicians honorable in the same light that some people refer to child molesters as gentlemen and ladies. Someone says, I hope all vendors are compliant with their payment schedules. A leader of an island said he's at his wit's end and this man is still in office and will be heading to Parliament tomorrow for budget address on behalf of the people he can't lead. No protest outside Parliament House, clown country. Someone says, unless this government comes to the realization that they are a government of St. Lucia and all St. Lucians, including the opposition and supporters of the United Workers' Party, unless they come to this realization, they will continue to govern this country as SLP politicians and not as a government. Rick, please give me a break. This is a great question. Where had Adrian been? He is a day late, $1 short.
We have a WhatsApp message. It is sad that the so-called who intellectuals in this country who have benefited from both parties' administrations suddenly seem not to be benefiting from the government that they directly or indirectly contributed in causing to be elected to government. Now that it's obvious that Labour had no comprehensive plan to develop the country, as they, the government, slowly limp along in 3 years with nothing significant to shout about, they are desperately throwing everything to the wall, hoping something sticks. So whilst a good speech from Auger, question for him, what did Alan Chastney do so wrong that Auger thought was anti-country and could not support? A WhatsApp message.
Someone in the chat says, so was Adrian Auger telling us that he's not happy with the way the country is being managed? Another comment, thank you, Rick. Dr. Adrian Auger vehemently opposed the changes to government that Alan Chastney introduced. Now he comes to talk about, quote, we don't like change, when his behavior told us he embraces change dependent on which party introduces it. Your memories are too short.
And Rick Wynn says, no need to worry about what Mr. Bermuda says about me. I'm not at all offended. Free speech, free speech, free speech.
Another comment, and it shocked me to hear him say some of the things he said, but some he quoted PJP. Another comment, y'all are too quick to latch onto people's words even when they speak truth in the moment. I've read this comment. Another one, the changes happening in the country today is, again, I've read this one. That's it in the chat, Tim.
All right, thank you so much. And let's see if we go through some of your WhatsApp messages. We are waiting a call at 452-2979, 452-2979. Let me see what you have to say there. And somebody says there, hi Tim, according to Adrian Auger, government seems to be robbing the citizens with tax increases by 19%, while the economy grew by 1% in 2023. I don't think he said in 2023, but he said that there's been little growth over a period of time, but the level of taxation has been a lot higher than the level of economic growth that we have been recording in St. Lucia. And let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages there. Somebody says there via WhatsApp, Tim, I listened to that speech. Where is it so true? Well said. These politicians are for themselves. All right, the broadcast will continue in just a moment with more of your calls at 452-2979 and, of course, your WhatsApp messages at 716-2026. Political interference in the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. Does it exist?
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead Look alive with Bouteille Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640, or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Catch the new vibe and the lingo. More upon more, so the tingo is more with flow if you didn't know. All these deals is a winner. More upon more with flow. More data, more talk for sure. More WhatsApp, video, cast app, unlimited talk, so you not stop chat.
Flow prepaid combo plans just got better. Loaded with even more data and unlimited talk. Take advantage of WhatsApp and all its features with our new prepaid plans. Unleash your creativity with more social media. Dial *129 to activate.
Now that's the new vibe and the lingo. Yes. More upon more, so the tingo is more with flow. Now you really know. Catch it now. All these deals make you save more. Get more.
In these modern times, the field of medicine has become so advanced that no one has to suffer any longer before they can be seen by a specialist doctor. La Clinique de Corps is proud to be the only healthcare provider in St. Lucia to offer the best and most experienced specialist doctors who are capable to first correctly diagnose and then successfully treat health conditions such as chronic back pain, spinal injury, sciatica, numbness, lupus, arthritis, joint pain, facial nerve pain, knee, heel and shoulder pain, cramps and carpal tunnel syndrome. Also available at La Clinique de Corps, complete nerve tests to detect nerve injury or muscle disease. All health insurances are accepted at La Clinique de Corps. So walk again pain-free with La Clinique de Corps. To book an appointment, please call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950.
Craving an unforgettable experience? Immerse yourself in pulsating rhythms. Libate your palate with the finest booze. It's Rhythm and Booze, a jazz Sunday unlike any other. Indulge in a breakfast-inclusive event at the Sandals Golf and Country Club, May 12th from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. Dance to the sounds of St. Lucia's hottest DJs and savor your favorite breakfast dishes. Rhythm and Booze. Get your early bird tickets now for $150, $175 regular. Available at all sell outlets and eventbrite.com. Don't miss this unforgettable jazz Sunday. Rhythm and Booze. Sandals Golf and Country Club, May 12th. Rhythm and Booze. This event is powered by Chairman's Reserve, JB Chenet, and KFC.
Cause when we roll, we don't roll alone.
Soufre Jazz, the ultimate experience. On the fringe of St. Lucia Jazz, yet taking main focus is the Soufre Jazz, the ultimate experience. Featuring Taunton legend, Future Lights, Robsai and Finesse, TYP, Ricky T, Jefferson John, Headliners, Nyla Blackman. Skinny Fabulous, Taurus Riley,
She's royal, yeah, so royal.
Presented by the Sufra Event Management Organization. Sunday, May 5th at the Sufra Mini Stadium from 3 p.m. General admission, $130 EC. VIP, $400 EC. Get your tickets at fourcirclestickets.com. SRDF, The Cell, Sufra Jazz, the ultimate experience.
Hey guys, guess what? Because your dad deserves more, Europa is giving more. They're bringing back the wow on Friday, June 14th with the very popular Culture Day for Father's Day. Last year was a blast and this year will be explosive. So fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, all the dads of St. Lucia and all the moms who stand for dad, we are knocking out 15% discount on all pressure washers, vacuum cleaners, upholstery cleaners, in fact, on all carton machines. And that's not all. With turbo impact drills, rotary hammer drills, angle grinders, power saws, jigsaws, and sanders too. This year we are throwing the kitchen sink out for dads.
Messi, ça non vle encore. Pour les diwi.
Europa June 14th. I'm not.
The National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union wishes to inform valued customers that its offices will be closed early on Tuesday, 23rd of April 2024, and that is to facilitate a general staff meeting. VA4 branch will close at noon. The Castries branch will close at 1 p.m. Regular business hours will resume on Wednesday, 24th of April 2024. And the National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union would like to apologize for any inconvenience caused. 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp messages at 716-2026. WhatsApp messages 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Hello.
Timothy, a pleasant good afternoon to you and your listeners all over the world. PW on the line, Timothy. Timothy, I want to agree with what Adrian Auger said about what happens when it comes to governance in this country. I want to believe that this speech was long in the making, and this speech did not come too late. As they say, better late than never. Because I've always believed that governance in this country, it sucks. I've always believed that, Timothy. Timothy, I want to also stand here today in solidarity with the Palestinians, Timothy. I remember a few years ago, St. Lucians were up in arms when Russia invaded Ukraine, and a lot of St. Lucians were willing to put on their boots and fight for the Ukrainians. But what happens now, Timothy? Do you hear any St. Lucians, supporting a Palestinian state? Do you hear St. Lucians standing in solidarity with the Palestinians? And you're so good, your good friend, Dr. Harris, always calls into your program, and he always defends the Israelis. He always defends Israel. But what I would like him to know is this. He got to practice what he preaches. If there is injustice, there is injustice. You talk against it. If there are people that are deprived of food and medicine, you come and you defend the people. I'm also proud of the Prime Minister of Barbados in standing in solidarity with the Palestinians, and also the President of Guyana and the people of Guyana that have stood, for the longest while in favor of the Palestinians. We must understand that 34,000 Palestinians have been killed in the last 6 months. Hundreds of journalists have been killed. We have UNRWA workers have also been killed, Timothy. Hospitals have been bombed by the Israelis. We gotta stand in solidarity with the Palestinians so that they can get their own Palestinian state. And I would like the government and people of St. Lucia to support Palestine because they deserve, for more than 100 years, they deserve a Palestinian state. And to say to the Israelis that they cannot, keep on killing men, women, and children that are innocent, that have no part, in the aggression against Israel, to become victims that are not part and parcel of the war that is going on. Timothy, solutions, please have your voices heard for the Palestinians and stand in solidarity for the Palestinians. Timothy, I thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. And by the way, the head of Israel's military intelligence has resigned, and his name is General Aharon Haliva. And he resigned on principle. Because what he's saying is, he basically failed the people of Israel when Hamas fighters invaded his country via the Gaza border, and resulting in 1,200 Israelis and foreign nationals being killed. Another 253 people were taken to Gaza as hostages, and you still have over 100, I think 130 odd or thereabout, still in custody there, in the custody of the Hamas fighters. In the case of St. Lucia, death after death, homicide after homicide, in particular in FIFO. No one takes responsibility for this. No one resigns. But going back to this Major General Haliva, Israel's military intelligence directorate, he says, a couple quotes attributed to him. He says, "We did not live up to the task we were entrusted with. We did not live up to the task we were entrusted with." Another quote, "I carry that black day with me ever since, day after day, night after night. I will carry the horrible pain of the war with me forever." And by the way, his resignation was anticipated, since he had stated some 10 days after the attack that he bore full responsibility for the intelligence failure of his directorate. In the case of the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu, he takes no responsibility, and he is not even contemplating giving up that post of Prime Minister. So, localizing this, in the case of St. Lucia, no one takes responsibility for anything. The most gruesome of killings would occur, sometimes in batches of 2 or 3 for a weekend and 4 for a weekend, and no one takes responsibility. Not your police commissioner, not your senior police officers, not your national security minister. And I could imagine now that we have a minister with responsibility for crime prevention, he'll tell you that is not his responsibility as well. So he will not take any kind of principled position and resign. And what I read from the BBC and a number of other news outlets is that more people whose responsibility was it to protect the population of Israel are likely to resign in the coming days and weeks. 452-2979, 452-2979. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Tim Harris, how are you doing?
Yes, good afternoon to you.
I came on. Tim, I just want to say 1 minute. A caller just called and talk about that war in the Middle East there and so on. You know, everybody's saying, okay, true. I'm not happy about innocent people being killed, especially the children. But what people must understand, these Palestinians have been encouraging terrorists in the midst and everything for years, decades now. Nobody is talking about these terrorists attacking innocent people and so on, and killing so many, raping, killing the children in front of them, taking them hostages. It's just like somebody come. The scripture say that the accomplished is worse than the people doing it. You think the Prime Minister want to attack that place there where they have all these Palestinians, but that's where the terrorists are. Imagine people that are feeding the people, pretending they are feeding them, and so on. They are part of the terrorist group. As I said, I'm not happy what's going on there. It's so sadly that innocent people died. About the resignation, I didn't even hear that yet. But you see, that's responsibility. That people have to take responsibility when they are placed in authority to do a job. It failed, you got to take full responsibility. Don't pass it on anybody else. This is what you are there for. And he had the good faith to resign because he's not fit for the job. He failed the intelligence and everything. Everybody is looking at just the other day there. But Israel have been suffering for decades. Imagine a country coming and tell the next country, you have no right to exist. Me say, please hope you won't there. These people not seeing all these things. Like as you said, the Kremlin viewport and so on. Some people have to take responsibility for that. We cannot hide these things and so on. And I just pray, God, man, I don't know. I don't even know what to say again about our St. Lucia, about what's happening in the world and everything like that. Anyway, one more thing I want to say. Boy, you see hypocrisy? Boy, I thought that I'd finished. Well, not finished, but I never compared with the Bible days when Jesus went to the synagogue and called people, these scribes and Pharisees, hypocrite. Man, there are so many hypocrites here, and some of us hide behind the name of God, just like the Pharisees and so on. There's a guy who gives some, how you call it, whatever he have on Choice Radio. Man, I look at that guy and hear that guy speak. As I said the other day, that guy's got his causing more division. And he's one of the biggest Pharisees in our days now, worse than the Pharisees in Jesus' days. And that person know who I'm talking about. Anyway, take care, man. God bless.
You too, sir. Thank you so much. And let me turn my attention to you, Kimani, and what's happening in the chat room while we await your calls at 452-2979.
In the chat room, someone says, I'm not interested in that war. There is a war in my own country. I have only so much time, energy, and emotional capacity to advocate on issues. Someone says, Ray Charles can see corruption exists within the department and ranks. Another comment, we cannot get rid of biased decisions when it comes to politicians and their supporters. However, a smart government will not make enemies of the people who put and take them out. In the chat, someone says, Harris, you need to pray some more and much louder. Let's see. Someone else is saying, from the River Jordan to the sea, I stand with Palestine. Viva Hamas. That's it, Tim.
Thank you so much. Let us hear now from the president of the Police Welfare Association, Mr. Cameron Law. He was on last Wednesday's Newsmaker Live broadcast. And we've been hearing over several years now the talk of there being political interference in the operations of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I did pose that question to him, whether that is still a problem that is affecting our law enforcement agency.
There has always been political interference in the police force. Always. You know, it's glaring to the average police officer, the interference that is there in the police force. It has been there before, it is there now. You cannot run away from it. And as I've said before, the onus is on the police officer to ensure that he or she is not being used by politicians to do the work. And I say that, and I've said that before, that any police officer who is found wanting where they use their office, for the gains of a politician, they should be fired immediately. And where a commissioner is concerned, or the executive of the police force, everybody is fighting to reach the top. Everybody wants to be commissioner, and people do what they have to do. But there is, I make no bones about it, there is political interference. There has been for a very long time, and it continues to remain the same.
But why do you think we have not been able to ensure that the police force is an independent body that operates on its own without the interference of politicians?
I remember a former commissioner saying that if a list of names to be promoted reaches his desk from a politician, he will take it and put it in the bin. I remember that, and I admired this commissioner for that. One of the biggest issues with commissioners, in my mind, is that some commissioners do not understand the authority that they have. So, the commissioner is formed under the Constitution. A commissioner cannot be transferred just because a politician wants him to be transferred. And we see the former commissioner, Mr. Regis, he was transferred, he won his case. A commissioner cannot be transferred if he does not agree to be transferred. And Mr. Mosheri was transferred because he agreed to be transferred. Now, if you understand that, you have superintendents over the police force and the operations of the police force. You can employ police officers from one rank until another. Outside of that is the Public Service Commission. You should not be intimidated by any politician when you make decisions which is in the best interest of the police force. As long as you understand that, you could make decisions that are in the best interest of the police force and law and order. And there's nothing a politician can do. Maybe this is why we've been hearing, you've heard that for quite some time, I don't know if it's true, that politicians employ commissioners that they feel, would do their work or would do what they want.
Because in effect, as much as the Constitution makes reference to the Governor General and the Public Service Commission, if the Prime Minister does not want a particular individual to be police commissioner, that person will never become the police commissioner.
That is correct.
So don't you think that person feels that he or she has to be indebted to the Prime Minister?
It happens.
Whoever that Prime Minister is.
It happens, but no, you should not feel that you should be indebted to the Prime Minister. And that's where integrity comes in, That the commissioner should make the Prime Minister understand, listen, or whichever politician, that I am going to assume that role that you have recommended me to assume that role. Make no mistake, when I get there, I am not going to be a puppet. I am going to do what is in the best interest of the solution.
If you make that statement before you're appointed, it is very unlikely that any Prime Minister
then wait for when you're appointed and make the statement. I know police officers, senior police officers, who would make that statement, I know a few of them. I have had many conversations with them, and of course, I don't think they would ever be given the opportunity to be commissioner.
Public Relations Officer of the Police Welfare Association, Mr. Cameron Law, speaking during last Wednesday's Newsmaker Live broadcast on DBS television. 452-2979, 452-2979, as we say hello and good afternoon to you. Go ahead with your contribution, caller.
Hello, good afternoon, Tim.
Yes,
how
ma'am.
are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I am good.
Mm-hmm.
Tim, we've been given, we were told that there was a roundabout up in Gruzile.
A mini roundabout.
Yeah. Well, here's a joke. Mm-hmm. People have been talking about that roundabout. I saw it once, but last night I seem to have just passed over it. I'm saying, but what did I pass over there? Then I realized it's the roundabout.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, because I was going up to Grozile.
You almost caused an accident, I suspect.
No. There was no car coming down.
Okay.
I was going up. And I'm saying, but wait a minute. that's the roundabout I passed over. So when I was coming down, I slowed down, and I'm realizing that is really the Tim. I think they need to sensitize people as to what's happening there, because that will cause accidents. When I saw that, I said no, that will cause accidents. So they really need to make people realize that that is there. And by the way, Timothy, why is it so flat and smooth?
I can't pretend to know about roundabouts or mini roundabouts.
But you've never seen it?
But I've seen it. I've driven on it as well. And there's a few public service announcements, videos, and the Ministry of Transport personnel decided they're going to a couple of shows, except NewsSpin or Newsmaker Live, and they're trying to educate members. I don't know.
Oh,
I
okay.
just said that.
Oh, okay.
They decided they're going on certain shows to publicize the mini roundabout. But I think it's in our interest to educate ourselves on its use, how to use it properly.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That one was a surprise. I had to laugh at that. I said, what? I passed over the roundabout? Wow. No, Timothy, that's not why I called you.
Yes, ma'am.
The reason why I called you, Tim, is because I think it was last week. Last week, there was a gentleman on another talk show who was being interviewed. That gentleman was associated with gangs. And he grew up a young guy, and he went he lived with his aunt, whatever, and then he went and he became, closer with the gangs, and he was street savvy, and he was telling us how, he testified and told us how he changed from what he was to what he is today, and he's assisting persons right now. And, when I listened to him, that was really interesting. Then I heard another talk show, because we go talk show hopping.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard another talk show where this gentleman, he seemed to be some criminal investigative whatever person, and he seemed to was given a lot of information as to what he thinks should be done to assist in the crimes that's going in St. Lucia. That was another talk show. That's not the gentleman that you had on your show, though. It was another gentleman, eh?
Yeah.
And, in listening to them, I realized that both of them seem to stress the word respect. They stress it. The gentleman who was testifying, he said sometimes a lot of the killings is not anything big that people did, Sometimes it's cigarettes that they sell and they didn't bring in the money. Somebody cursed somebody, and because of sometimes some petty things, they decide to kill each other. And he was expounding that there should be respect, and lack of respect causes a lot of what is causing a lot of what is going on right now. Now, last week I heard you were saying that the Prime Minister is, he's willing to accept anyone who is going to come out with, something concrete that will assist him.
Well, I was quoting the Prime Minister.
Pardon?
I was quoting him.
You were quoting him, yeah. So, really and truly, I think he has a lot of information. The Prime Minister has been given a wealth of information. If he was listening to your program and a lot of the other programs, he would realize that there's a wealth of information that persons have given him. And, I would use, if I were him, I would use an operative word, respect. A word to promote the curbing of a lot of what is going on right now. The word would be respect. And to do that, I would have to get organizations like the police, the social services, Ministry of Education, the church, opposition members, everybody coming together. Now, according to what I see, the Prime Minister is not a narcissist. He is not somebody who is too full of himself. So I think it would be a good thing to incorporate all of those persons, get their ideas, and implement it. Use the media, use posters, use scrolls, use churches. Another thing that we can use too, before, Timothy, we used to have exercise books, and on those exercise books we had our times tables, we had, getting inches from inches to yards to feet to whatever, okay? the different, we had to use the different tables.
And our civic responsibilities, information
Yes,
on our
and our
civic
responsibilities.
Yeah.
And so we can use these same exercise books, put in the word respect and the meaning of it, and why we should respect each other. Timothy,
Well, we will have to put it on social media, because how many children use exercise books anymore?
Oh, well, yeah, not exercise books they use, I think they use notebooks.
Okay, but you could have it on social media.
On social media, yeah. And expound on that. Timothy, if I respect you, I'm not going to come and steal your fruits. I will not come and steal things at your home. I will not play music loud. These days, Timothy, I'm seeing guys have these heavy-duty music bombers on top of their vehicles. And they don't care who they're driving behind. They're on their jolly good time. And there's no respect of, community. There's no respect of person. And because of that, they do it. Now, Timothy, if he press a very hard brake and, this thing falls, it's either the person in front of him or behind him that's going to be damaged. You understand, Tim? So if we respect each other, a lot of what's going on wouldn't happen. And we need to get to the children, because, Timothy, I'm seeing it. The kids come into your establishment, and the things that they tell each other, no respect. And they didn't get it from themselves, Timothy. They got it from us, the grown-ups. Now, I said us because I'm grown-up, but I don't use I don't use these types of words. I don't use it, period. And that's not because I'm perfect. It's because I was taught not to use it. So we now have to, show those children. Don't just tell them, but show them the right way. And Timothy, Lady Lean sang a song, Respect. You remember that song?
Yes, I remember.
Could you play it for me, Timothy, just so that I can add a word?
Not today. We'll not be able to play
Not
today.
today, but one of the days.
All right.
We have to use respect as our operative word. And if he used that word, and we use posters, we use buntings all over the place. It must stay in. It will stay in person's heads. And we will say, but sometimes that happens, and the people not even watching it. Let me tell you, Timothy, you would be surprised sometimes what may catch somebody's attention. Okay, Tim?
Okay, ma'am.
So I'm just praying that he would use a lot of what persons are telling him, get the organizations together, because it's one thing to have a wealth of information, but you have to implement it. Okay, Timothy?
Okay, thank you so much.
You have a good day. Thank you for your hearing.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right, time now to inform you of a notice of early closure. The National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union wishes to inform valued members that its offices will be closed early on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, the 3rd of April, and that is to facilitate a general staff meeting. VA4 branch will close at 12 p.m., that's noon. Castries branch will close at 1 p.m. Regular business hours will resume on Wednesday, 24th of April, 2024. And the National Farmers and General Workers Cooperative Credit Union would like to apologize for any inconvenience caused. And now our NewsSpin news of the day, we shared it with you earlier on. Israeli military intelligence chief quits over October 7th attack. Israeli military intelligence chief quits over October 7th attack. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the most monitored talk show in the world. Please join us for another edition tomorrow afternoon, 12:30. Goodbye.